Hello friends, in today's video we are going to learn about how to use an oven, a normal oven for drying. It looks very simple when we hear a very simple thing that if we are going to operate an oven, but there are a lot of you can say do's and don'ts, what you have to do, what you have to not do while operating an oven. For example, if you see this is my oven, okay, and these are trays, okay, first tray and down tray, okay. So what do you have to do for before working on it? What you should know, what you should not do while working. So suppose this is my temperature knob and this is my time knob, and if I'm putting an infinity, it means it will go as much I can, the time will not stop, okay. So I cannot control it digitally. This is a manual, and the machine is binder. So first of all, it has to be switched on from here. This is my temperature knob plug, and make sure this is connected from here, right? Okay. And this is my back portion, so it is for venting out the harmful, or you can say the gases, okay. And this is also, so make sure these vents are open, they are not closed, okay. It can cause a serious pressure fluctuation inside, okay. So first of all, okay, what type of materials can we use for drying? For example, the recommended is the solid, the filters, and the beakers, the crucibles, okay. And it is not recommended for highly volatile solvents, flammable solvents, thermally unstable solvent that can decompose from the temperature line from 100 to 200 degrees C. And they recommended, for example, if you have a waste like this is your waste. So these are leaves and these are your ceramic crucibles, okay. So the recommended for the biomass and leaves is starting from 60 to 105. And if you have a biochar, for example, if you have a biochar, I already have seen in my previous videos how does the biochar exactly looks like, okay. So this is my biochar, okay. So the recommended temperature is 80 to 120 degrees C. Either it is a biochar or a hydrochar. We all know what is a biochar and a hydrochar. Activated carbon, for that also 80 to 110. Membrane is 40 to 60. You cannot go above 60 because the membrane will either melt or it will become unstable or decompose. Glassware 80 to 120. Heavy sludge 105. For a non-digital oven, this is you can say you have to start slowly. You have to start from 40 to 60. Don't go above 60 directly. So gradually to avoid the thermal shock. And you don't have to put wet solvent. Check ventilation if there is a proper ventilation or not. So usually it's preferred to use inside the fume hood, okay. If you are, suppose you are using the hydrothermal reactor for this one, okay, this one, so it causes a serious pressure fluctuations and it can also release some gases. So make sure this is inside the fume hood. And also if you are putting or spreading the samples, for example this one, so you can see this is a tray, you make sure these are spread evenly, uniformly, so that the material dries out faster. And use a shallow crucible. If you have this one, you can see this is a shallow crucible. So we have different type of crucible. You can use even this type of crucible also, okay. And also you have to avoid these kind of plastic containers, but this one which I use, you can operate till 70-60. After that it will melt, okay. And also you have to label your samples. If you are not putting a label, for example this one, you put a label here, so in order to identify it after any drying, okay. And use a spatula or a tray which is stainless steel, does not corrode. So this is a spatula which is made of stainless steel. You have to use that. Even the tray has to be either aluminium or a stainless steel. And after drying, which is and these are kind of filters, you can even dry these filters at 100 or 80 or 90, not more than that. If you dry 200, 300 for it will burn, okay. And also if you have finished the drying, so make sure that you have the tongs. These are the tongs, okay, these tongs in order to hold it. And also you should have a heat resistant gloves, Okay, and also if you are trying to burn something, so make sure it can sustain that temperature. You should know, if you're using this, you should know the melting point and boiling point of these. Okay, if you don't know, so it may be a problem. Okay, this also you should know its melting point and boiling point. Okay, even this one, even these kind of conical flask, even if you are trying to dry this, so you should know these melting point and boiling point, at which temperature it can sustain. These one, it can sustain higher temperature, 100, 1000, 800, 900. So we know that. Okay, and if you are drying an oil, so you should know its melting point and boiling point. If you're doing regeneration of the adsorbent, for that also you should know the adsorbent, melting point and boiling point, which above which it can become unstable. And also you can plant your thermometer inside to check the temperature, or you can do it internally or externally. Okay, and you should have a heat resistant gloves, not the normal gloves that we use in laboratory. They are not heat resistant, it may melt, so you have to use a special kind of glove. Okay, and after drying you should have a desiccator. For example, this is my desiccator, so you have to keep it and make sure the gels are regenerated. I have talked about the regeneration of the silica gel in my old videos. So this is also my silica gel here, and this is also the desiccator. Also I've talked about in my previous videos about the desiccator, two kind of desiccator. So make sure you have to put them, cool them, and then take the weights if you are finding the moisture, or if you're taking the initial weight or final weight. Okay, so these are the do's and don'ts, or you can say the SOP, or standard operating procedure, while we use an oven. Okay, so I hope the viewers are enjoying my video and they are gaining a lot of knowledge. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and give suggestions and comments on my videos.